Hi, this video is about how to build your first WordPress website. My name is Luke, and I'll take you hand in hand all the way from choosing the right platform for your website, to hosting your website, to choosing a domain name, to actually building your WordPress website today. So why WordPress? I've been using WordPress professionally for over 13 years. I've grown with it, and I'm not alone. Today, WordPress powers a whopping 43% of the entire internet. It was and still is the best choice for me for a number of reasons. The main one being that WordPress.org is an open source platform. That means that you own your content. If you want to change hosting, for example, you can easily move your website and your content. Now, there are many platforms out there like Wix, Squarespace, Weebly, and more. One issue with these platforms is they are closed environments. So if one day you want to move your content to a different hosting company, for example, or you've outgrown the platform, you'll be stuck there. For this video, I'll be using Elementor hosting for WordPress. I find it to be the fastest and safest way to get going with building your first WordPress website. I'll talk more about it when I go on to our next topic, hosting. So, what is hosting? In short, it's like renting a space in a building, only this is a space for your website's media and files on the internet. In some hosting companies, and I'll call it old world, you need to click to install WordPress and then click to install an SSL, which adds a layer of security to your website and other services. Now, some hosting companies will install this for you, but sometimes for a hidden fee or an extra cost along the way. Luckily, as mentioned earlier, we'll be using a new world method, which is perfect for WordPress beginners. Elementor hosting for WordPress. Elementor hosting comes with everything that you need for your website pre-installed. You'll soon see what I mean when we start creating your first WordPress website. Designing your website. Every WordPress website requires a theme. A theme controls the look and feel of your WordPress website. There are thousands of free and paid themes available to download via the WordPress repository. But often when people download a theme, they're surprised to find out that their website doesn't look anything like the preview and nothing like what they'd hoped for. Customizing a theme isn't an easy job, and this is why page builders came into the picture. A page builder gives you more design control and freedom when building your website. Page builders usually have a drag and drop function, making it much easier to work on building your website and without using code. Some page builders, like Elementor Pro for example, give you even more control as they let you design every single part of your website, including some parts you might have heard about, headers and footers. This will be perfect for us as we'll be using Elementor hosting for WordPress, which already comes with the Elementor Pro page builder pre-installed. SEO and traffic. Next, you want to add content to your website. Depending on your website topic, I'd suggest to either search Google and see what people are looking for, or you can use different tools for keyword research. It's all about traffic, and to get more of it, you'll need to start adding content to your website as quickly as possible. The sooner you add content, the sooner search engines will be able to index your website for search results. You'll also want to add relevant content and SEO-friendly content. SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization, and WordPress has many plugins like Yoast SEO, Rank Math, and more to help make your content more appealing for search engines. Elementor, which we'll be using throughout the video, integrates perfectly with the most popular WordPress plugins, so we're good. Plugins and features. But what is a plugin? In short, a WordPress plugin extends the functionality of a WordPress website and adds new features. There are a ton of WordPress plugins out there, such as plugins for backups, security, performance, forms, and pop-ups, just to name a few. Using Elementor hosting for WordPress, together with the Elementor Pro plugin, covers all these other plugins and more. Having fewer plugins means less time and headache wasted on updating plugins and worrying about plugin compatibility. Elementor has us covered. How to grow your business. Now that you have a website up and running, you want to think about expanding your reach across other platforms like YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook, that will lead visitors back to your website. This way, you're not only increasing traffic to your website, you're also increasing your brand awareness and growing your business. You can also make money off your website's traffic, either by adding ads to your WordPress website or becoming an affiliate or even a sponsor, depending on how much traffic you bring in. Alright, now we know what we're doing and where we're heading, let's start building our WordPress website. To get started, I'm going to sign up for an Elementor hosting account. Doing so will provide me with everything that I need to create my first WordPress website. Not only am I provided with fast, secure web hosting, which includes an SSL certificate for security, daily backups, and VIP support, but it also automatically installs WordPress and Elementor for me. I'll first visit the Elementor website by entering elementor.com in the address bar of my browser. Next, let's select Get Started. We'll be taken to a screen where we'll be presented with the option to choose a site plan. Here, I'll need to enter a few basic details like my email address, password, billing information, and payment information. So, after going through the purchase process, we can start creating our website. We will call it Reborn. And as you can see, our domain is reborn.2023.elementor.cloud. This is a temporary domain name provided by Elementor Hosting until we connect our own domain later. Though don't worry about that just yet, I'll show you how it's done later on. Okay, let's start searching for a kit here. I love the kit library because you can find a lot of beautiful and elegant designs, as well as very functional kits for almost any kind of website. Today we'll build a website for a social media consultant. Our company needs a homepage, an about page, contact page, as well as a gallery to showcase its successful projects. Before designing or looking for inspiration for your website, you should know which pages you'll need. It's even better if you plan ahead and write it down. It'll help you stay focused while looking for ideas. Let's take a look at the demo of this wedding kit. The design is super elegant. It's for a wedding photographer. There's a home page, a gallery page, and an about page. That's almost exactly what we need. Kind Words is a testimonial page. Wow, this is really amazing. There's also coverage. Let's see what that is together. And a contact page. That's exactly what we need. So let's scroll down. The use of images is perfect. Let's take a look at their portfolio. Clearly, there are lots of pictures of their clients, which is exactly what we need. You can see what it looks like on mobile too. I'll start applying this kit. I'm going to apply everything. I love to be inspired by others' content, the way they use colors, typography, and imagery. I'll let you in on a secret. All designers look for inspiration for their projects. No one starts off with a blank canvas. That's why we use a kit that is ready for our business that is similar to ours rather than a wireframe kit. Okay, our kit is installed on our website. Let's see it live. You can see that it came across with all the assets and all the copy. Like I said earlier, I love to be inspired by these kinds of works so that I know what direction to take. You don't have to worry if the color isn't your brand style. We'll come back to that later and I'll show you a trick on how to fully customize your kit to match your own brand language by only changing a few settings. But first, it's important to go back to the WordPress dashboard and learn about some of the basics of WordPress. So this is our main dashboard. This is the screen you'll see when you log into your WordPress dashboard. Here you can see the latest updates from WordPress and Elementor and all the other plugins you will be using. Here's a quick link to Elementor customer support if you need help. or if you have any questions for the WordPress Elementor experts. We've got the top bar here. It has the website name, and clicking on it while holding Command or Control opens it in a new tab. But we will return to our dashboard. Here you can see the comment section. Add new, which can be a post, page, media, etc. Site lock mode. And here's a howdy for my user, which only I can see when I'm logged in. By the way, you'll see extra controls on the top bar if you're on a different page than the dashboard, as you can see here. You have Customize, Edit Page, and Edit with Elementor. Let's continue with some basics. Here's the tab where you can see all your posts or add new ones. Clicking here will take you to your media library to add new media, pages, comments, all the Elementor settings, templates, saved templates, and the theme builder. By the way, if you don't want to use this kit anymore, you can remove it and browse for a new kit through the kit library using this link. So you have appearance, themes, plugins, users, tools, and settings. And if you add more plugins, their controls will show up on the left here. Okay, let's start with pages. As you can see, all of our pages that came with the kit are listed here. If you hover over the title of a page, you will see the link to Edit with Elementor and a drop-down with more options such as Preview, Duplicate Page, Rename Page, Page Settings, Set as Homepage, Edit with WordPress, and Trash to delete the page. To add a new page, just click Add New here on the top of the page. You can add a title. Let's name it as Demo Page. Click Save. And now we landed on a blank page with a canvas that we can build on. From here, you can start dragging and dropping elements and start building your website. But first, let's talk about WordPress and the difference between pages and posts. I'll first exit the editor by clicking this icon and selecting Exit. Alright, cool. Consider pages as your static content that rarely needs to be changed. This might be, for instance, your About page or Services page, and is regarded as a permanent item. Posts, on the other hand, are articles that are regularly added to your blog. This type of content helps drive traffic to your website via search and social media. It looks like this kit didn't import any posts, but there are some kits that will. Let's click to add a new post. We see we can add a title. We can add a featured image as well. The title and the featured image will be displayed on your archive pages, as well as on your single post pages too. You can assign them to certain categories, create tags, and write an excerpt. An excerpt is a small summary of your article page. This is important for search engines and your visitors to know what they're about to read. And then when you're done, you can click to publish. You can populate your content by using the WordPress block editor, which has been around since version 5. Using a paragraph, a heading, an image, a gallery, etc. Or you can start editing with Elementor. It's completely up to you. Let's return to our pages. And as I promised, I will show you how to make this kit your own. Let's go back to Pages and start editing the demo page we created earlier. Click Edit with Elementor. I want to show you a few basics about Elementor. You might be wondering why. We're planning on using a pre-built kit anyway, aren't we? The reason is that kits in the library have been designed and developed by professional designers and developers. As a beginner, it's beneficial to first gain some experience building and editing with Elementor. This will help you better understand the techniques and processes used to create these stunning designs. First of all, everything sits in a container. You can build the complete page in a single container or divide it into many containers. So, I'll add a container by either dragging or dropping here from the widget panel, and you can delete it by clicking the delete icon on the handle. or by clicking the plus icon and selecting a structure. This indicates that this is a single container and the column direction. This means whatever widgets we are planning to place inside, no matter how many of them, they will be positioned vertically. Whereas if I choose this one, the direction is row, and the items will be placed next to each other horizontally. This one will give you two columns equally divided, and you get the idea. So I'll start with this one. If you choose a vertical column and then change your mind and want to change the item's direction, you can always change it here. We will return to that later. Content width boxed means that no matter what width of any of the items you place inside the container, it will always take up the size you specify here. So here it is, 1700. It means the container width will always have a width of 1700 pixels regardless of your desktop screen size. If you change it to full width by using the drop-down selector, as you can see, it automatically sets it to 100% of the viewport width, meaning your content in this container will take up 100% of the screen's width. So even if you reduce it to 80%, for example, it will always fill that 80% of the width, depending on your screen size. I will set it to a full width, 100% for now, and here's the minimum height setting. So, what is it exactly? It's the minimum height that your container will occupy on the page when it has items inside. When the items exceed this height, the container will expand vertically to accommodate the whole content. You can set it using the slider or give it a specific numeric value using this box. And you can change the measurement unit if you want to using this drop-down selector next to the unit indication above the box. That's it for the basics of containers. Let's play with this a little and explore the Style tab. Here you can choose the background type from Classic, Gradient, Video, or Slideshow. You can simply add a color or change the background by setting a color using the color picker through here. Or you can also add an image. You can see that there are beautiful images here already. Images that came with the kit I chose. The images that came with the kit aren't going to be used, so once I'm done changing all the content, I'll delete them. You can see that by default the image is repeating itself to fill the container. I'll set this image to no repeat. Well, as you can see, the random image we picked is actually smaller than the container, so it actually sits in the top left of the container. If we want, we can change the position by selecting a position from here. I'll set it to center, for instance. And also, if we want this image to cover all the space in the container, we will choose the display size and set it to cover. I'll delete that and I'll start populating it with widgets. So let's start with the most basic widget, which is the heading widget. You can see that the default heading text comes with specific color and font settings. This is coming from the preset global settings of this kit, and I'll show you soon how you can change that. You might have noticed that with this container as well, that each widget comes with 3 tabs. The first one is the Content tab, where we can change the widget content. In this heading widget, it's the text content, but in the other widgets, it might be an image, video, icon, or even both. So let's take a look at it together. This is our first headline. If you want to link this heading to a specific URL, you can type the URL here. Your visitors can be directed to the URL once they click on the heading. You can also change the HTML tag. HTML tags are important for the hierarchy of your content on the page. Hierarchical structure of your content is important for the search engine optimization of your website. You can also change the alignment, as you can see here. In the Style tab, you can change the color. You can choose one of the global colors that were set earlier using the global globe icon, or you can set a completely different color using this color wheel. I will change it back to black. This also works for the typography settings too. You can choose one of the typography settings we set earlier in the global styles, again using the globe icon, or you can change it to a completely different font family by choosing one from the rich Google Fonts library built in. You can change the size, adjust the weight, give a line height. By the way, keep in mind that when the globe icon is colored, it means that one of the global settings is active. There are more advanced styling settings available, such as text stroke, text shadow, and even blend mode, but it's not necessary to get into detail on that right now. We're just learning the basics here. And then finally, we have the Advanced tab. Let's quickly go over the options. Here you may control the spacing around the widgets. Margin controls the space outside of the widget, and padding controls the space inside the widget container. The widget container's boundary, or border, is defined by this thin line around it. But to demonstrate it better for you, I'm going to add a border around that by expanding this tab and setting a border type to solid. The width is going to be set to 2, and I'll set it to the primary color just to show you. If I go back to the Layout tab, you can see that if I increase the margin, it pushes the widget from both sides. But if I increase the padding, it adds space around the content. Let's undo this. If I click on the container, by going over the container and selecting the handle of the container, and remember that a container is also a widget, which means you have a similar control approach. So if, for example, I add 50 pixels of padding, you can see that this heading widget is pushed 50 pixels from the sides. And if I want to only change the top padding to 150, I can unlink the values here and type the exact value that I want to in the relevant area. In this case, padding top. Let's move on and drag in a text editor widget. Here you have more or less the same controls as the heading widget. This is designed for longer body text. I'll just copy and paste this text multiple times to have a longer text to work with visually. That seems to be enough for now. You can display it in multiple columns, or even 3. Maybe you noticed earlier, certain controls have this small desktop icon. This means that you can change the settings according to the display size. You can display 2 columns on your tablet, and for your mobile, you can choose to display only 1. And on styling, you have similar options as the heading widget. Let's try the button widget. We'll drag it in, and as you can see, the button widget came with pre-made settings in this kit. Let's change our button text to discover more, for example. Notice that the longer our text is, the bigger our button gets. Here we can add the URL, and if you want to add a link to a page within the website, just type the title of the page. You can see that as I type, the relevant options appear down here. Or you can simply paste an external link. We can change the alignment of the button here. Change the size, medium, large, or extra large. If we go large, for example, you can see we have more space on the top and bottom. You can add an icon using the rich icon library, or you can upload your own. You can then choose the icon position. It can be displayed before or after the text. And then you can control the spacing between the icon and text. On the Style tab, you will see that you have more options than the previous widgets that I showed earlier. You have more detailed styling options for the normal and hover states of the button, and even the ability to add a hover animation. And one last thing, let's click to get back to the container. I will remove the paddings we gave earlier just to show it more clearly. We can justify everything vertically just to the center by clicking here, or we might want to justify it to the end. Space between will push the first and last content to the edges of the container. Space around will distribute the remaining white space equally in a way to set equal space to top and bottom of all sides. and space evenly will add spacing around on elements in a way that white spaces between each item on top of the first item and the bottom of the last item would be equal. We can also align items horizontally to start, center, end, or stretch. For now, we will justify content center and align items to the start. You can also set the gap between the elements in the container, like so, or entering an exact value here. Last but not least, if you decide to display your elements horizontally rather than vertically, you can always go back and change it. And the wrap option helps us to organize it easily. So this is our first introduction to building with Elementor. There are more complex widgets, but the logic of using them is the same. We'll see them while we work with the kit we use. Now, let's head back to our homepage and start uploading our own content and making this kit our own. Taking a second look at our kit, you may think that this is completely different branding for your website and business. That's okay. Actually, I'll show you how to change that. Most of the colors are set in global styles we talked a little about earlier in the process. I will show you a trick to do it easily. As we saw earlier, while we were learning about the basic widgets and their stylings, they can be changed individually as you design all the elements of your website, or on a higher level in site settings. I will show you how to do that right now, so let's return to the dashboard. And from Pages, I will go to the Global Styles page. So this is another beautiful thing that I love about kits. Each kit comes with a Global Style page. The Global Styles page gives us all the colors and typography settings. So you will see that this is used throughout the kit that we are using, and this is customizable. These are displayed here, as defined in our site settings. As you change it, you'll see how this affects all the places this setting is used. You can even see how the menus are styled. You can copy and paste the style. It's a very functional page. I love it. But first, let's change the colors. Our social media consultant business owner is young and energetic, so we want the website to reflect that. So we'll take this website from a neutral tone to a more vibrant one, with the colors and typography settings soon. Let's go to Site Settings. Click on Global Colors, and as you can see, these names match the names that appear here. And the colors match as well. So if you would like to change the background color 1, for example, to pink, you'll see that it will be reflected here. Perfect, right? So I'll use another color for this secondary background color. Let's do that. No matter what you create, black, white, and transparent will always be useful, so I highly recommend keeping them. Moving on to borders. In this case, the grey color isn't right for us. I will select another vibrant color for this, and for us, this will be lilac. And I won't have an FAQ section on my website, but I would like to add another border color, which is orange. Yep. And I'll change the primary, secondary, and body text a little bit. The primary text, let's change it to charcoal, which is very close to black. And I'll use the same color as my secondary. The body text color will be slightly smoother than my primary and secondary colors. And my accent color will be the same as well. So I'll update this and move on to the global fonts. Although these fonts used in the kit look elegant, we want to add a little playfulness. We want to keep the elegance on one hand because we are a premium business service. However, our target audience is young people who want to look outgoing. That's why I'm going to choose a font family that is a bit more playful. I chose Bangers for that. Let's make it 60 pixels, line height 65 pixels. I'll set the letter spacing to 4. Okay, you can see it changed here. Perfect. Next, I'll set the secondary headline. I want to use another elegant font family. Playfair display. I'll leave the size as is at 1.5 viewport width. and I'll set the width to a medium because I want it to be a little bit bolder. Next, I'll reduce the spacing a little to 4. You can see that they got closer to each other. Let's now change the body text to Playfair Display as well. I will keep the size and the other settings. Next, the accent text is italic, and I like that it is, but I'm going to change it to Playfair Display too, so that everything will be consistent. And I'll reduce the letter spacing to 4 again. Next, we have custom fonts. We have a hero headline, which is used on the homepage in the hero section. As you can see, this is Italiana font, but I'll change it to Bangers. Let's also increase its size to 230 pixels. I'll keep the letter spacing as it is. Since the font is bigger, it can accommodate a wider space between the letters. Next, the subtitle. Again, I'll change it to Playfair Display. I'll keep the sizes because I like them, but I will change the weight to medium. Now, the captions, also Playfair Display. Nav menu, Playfair Display again. Next, testimonial names. I want this to be playful too, so I'll change it to Bangers. I'll reduce the letter spacing to 1.5. That's it. And lastly, the copyright text to Playfair Display font. And the letter spacing, of course, a little bit smaller. I'm going to save the changes by clicking Update. Okay, are you ready to see what the homepage looks like now? So, click to return to the editor. Let's click Exit and head back to the WordPress dashboard. Now click the Visit Our Page link to view the front end of the website. Wow! As you can see, all the fonts and colors have changed already. Amazing! Now we can see there are some parts that are not styled using the global settings, but as you can see, everything else has changed. So what's left for us is changing our content. So I'll click Edit with Elementor to start editing our homepage. Okay, as mentioned earlier, the kits in the kit library are designed and built by professional web designers and web developers. Sometimes they can use widgets unconventionally. As an example, here, instead of using the heading widget, our title is actually written in the icon box widget. Developers might do that because they have more control over the styling and spacing, so I can totally understand that. And don't worry about it, you will learn these workarounds pretty soon as we progress. To see the structure of the page better, I highly recommend using the navigator that you can activate from the bottom of the editor. You can even position it by dragging it around or attach it to the right edge of your canvas. But I would like to use it unattached, keeping my workspace wide. Okay, let's start editing. I'll start with the text in this heading widget. Our social media consultant is based in London, so I'll paste this text here. Here in this icon box widget, I'll add the name of our studio, Reborn. And the studio's main business is personal branding. Let's change the photography as well. Clicking on the image opens its settings. Next, I'll click to change image, and this will direct me to the media library. Here I can upload my own files. What I like to do is upload all my files at once. Okay, let's go with this one. I'm happy with the alignment. The designer did a great job with this kit. So all I have to do here is change the images. That's it. You know what? Maybe I'll make this image a little bigger. What if I try 100? Ooh, it's too much. Let's try 75%. Even 70%. I think it's perfect. Moving on, this is a bio section of our business. Let's edit this heading widget to display her name, Zoe Nisha Jones. She's a London-based social media consultant. I'll add some About Me text here. Let's change the image here as well. We can use this one. Here you can see the color is grey, meaning that it's not coming from our global settings. Let's find out where this is coming from. As you can see, box shadow is activated. How did I see that? Because the pencil icon here is colored, meaning it's activated. Unfortunately, the box shadow effect doesn't have a global styles option, so I'll just paste the hex code here instead. Let's use purple. There, done. Here, instead of weddings, we'll display our most successful clients. Let's see. I want to add a small tagline here. Instead of recent weddings, I'd like to call it, "It's all about finding the real you." You know what? I want to break this into 2 lines of text. So one option to do this is to increase the margins from the sides like so. But this would be poor practice. Instead, under the Advanced tab, you'll find the width setting. Default takes the whole space. Inline will use the exact amount of space that the widget needs to take, and Custom will allow you to define your own width. So I'll try 40%, even more, 45. I like it, but I want it centered. So I'll click to align self to center. Now it's just how I wanted it. In this section, we see an image of a couple, their initials and wedding dates. Let's tweak it and make it our own. But first, do you see the cool on hover effect? This is a Flipbox widget. The Flipbox widget lets you add content to the front and back. So here there is no title and description, and we can see that the image is embedded in the background. I'll remove it and add an image of the client, like so. And this text is coming from the back. Let's change it. Client's name is Sophie Norberg, and she's a backpacker with lots of followers. Finally, if I want to change the background color to orange, for example, I can do so here. Now I want to separate the traveler and the followers into separate lines. So I'll click the Style tab, and under Back, I'll increase the padding values from the sides. I'll change it to percentage. And let's try 20%. Maybe 26%. Okay. You can see now the number of followers is on the second line. Now we've already made this one our own, the best way to edit the other 2 is to delete them. Yes, do it. Don't worry. You'll see that one has taken the whole space. Now, let's right-click, duplicate twice. Now we have one with our style already here, and all we have to do is change the content. This is a workflow I use often. So, let's choose another image. This one is a good representative of a digital nomad. Let's choose another image, a singer and a ukulele player. Her name is Joy Sings, and she's a musician with a lot of followers. Moving on to our last section, the kind words, I'll keep it as it is and only change the names and the text, like so. This is the testimonial widget where we can write the actual testimonial text, the name, and choose an image. We can change the image position to on top of the name or beside it. Change the alignment, or remove the images entirely. The next section, well, we don't need it, so I'll delete it. We're working with individuals and we're already featuring them here. Next, the Get in Touch. Let's change it from Roberta to Zoe. Also, let's change her image here to that one. Now change the display size to cover and the position to top center. So, editing our header and footer. I can go ahead and edit the page by clicking directly here, or I can go to the setting and click the theme builder. It's faster to click on the header, but let's go the long way so I can show you the theme builder. So, I've got the theme builder here, and you can see all the site parts that came with the kit that we installed. We already have a 404 page, header, and footer. We also see that this kit doesn't have a single post template, or a single page template, or an archive. So let's start with the header template first. As you can see in the preview, our updated typography and colors are already reflected here. Let's edit our header by clicking Edit here. So here we are in our header. I'd like to add a border that will fit our branding. So let me choose Border Type Solid with 1 pixel width and color. I'll choose the color from our global colors. Black, our primary color. Cool. Next, what's inside our header? Here, we have an icon list that displays our phone number, email address, and official address. I will return to make some changes later. Let's first begin with the site identity. Because we haven't uploaded our own logo yet, we see this default one. We can change the site logo using this button, and it will take us to site identity. Another way to get to site identity is to click here in the hamburger menu and then go to Site Settings. And under Site Settings, you'll see Site Identity. You can change your site logo by choosing an image from the image library or by uploading your own. We don't have a logo, but the kit we're using comes with some. As a demonstration, I'll use that one. And you can also choose a favicon to appear on the browser tab handle. And when I click Update and return to the editor, you can see that our logo is showing up here. You can change the width, and because this is an SVG file, you can increase the size as much as you like and you won't lose image quality. Okay, let's remove this. Another way is using our site title instead of a logo. Let's drag it in. As you can see, the site title already matches our branding, just like we set it earlier. You can, of course, change the size to smaller. Reduce the spacing. Now, under Content, the link is set to the site URL, meaning that every time a visitor clicks the site title, they'll be directed to the homepage. Okay, next we have our WordPress menu that displays links to pages on our website. Right now, the primary menu is selected. The reason it is called a WordPress menu is because the menu itself is created within WordPress, and to edit this menu, click here, and you can now see that we are now editing the menus in WordPress. You can edit the selected menu in here, or you can create a new menu using this link. So, you can give a menu a name. I will name it Demo Menu, and you can select the display location here. And if you check this, you agree to auto-add pages once a new page is created in WordPress. So I won't select any of those, and I'll click to create the menu. Next, I'll choose which pages to include in my menu. I'll switch to All Pages, and let's choose the home page, Contact, Gallery, and Kind Words. I don't want to show the Global Styles page to anyone. Alright, I'll click Add to Menu, and there they are. You can arrange the items simply by dragging and dropping them. I want the contact page to be at the bottom and kind words to be before the contact page. You can also create submenus by dragging them slightly to the right, like so. I'll move it back for now. Just to quickly review all the options here. If you have posts, you will see them here. You can add them to your menu directly. You can also do the same for your categories. Once you have a category, you can add it directly to the menu. Just type a URL, custom URL, and add text, external. This is an example URL, of course. As you can see, the item external is added to the menu, and we have an indication that it's a custom link. Now, if you want to remove an item, you can just expand it by clicking the down arrow and clicking Remove, and then the item will be removed. I'll change the text here to Portfolio. So once you have your menu, click here to save it. And again, if you want to edit an existing menu, select it from the drop-down and click Select to edit it. Change the text to Portfolio once more. By the way, you can also reach the menus from the WordPress dashboard under Appearance, then Menus. If you recall, we got to the menu via the Elementor editor. So let's head back to editing our header with the primary menu selected. By the way, if I refresh the page, you will see that our example menu is there too. But I'll continue with our primary menu. Let's return to editing our contact details. Okay, let's start with our number. Of course, this is a made-up number and email address. And the location. Cool. Okay, let's talk about dynamic links. Can you see this wrench icon? And it says contact URL. Let me delete it. Now, imagine you want to create a clickable link that when clicked or tapped on a mobile device, dials a phone number. To do that, first, click on the barrel logo. This opens up dynamic tags. Here, navigate to the Actions category and look for Contact URL. Next, click the wrench icon, and from the drop-down, choose Tell, and type in or paste the telephone number. If you expect calls from international contacts, you must also add the country code. Moving on to email, you can do the same, but this time under Type, instead of Tell, choose Email. Type in or paste your email address here. Once the user clicks the link, it will open their email provider and create a new email with your address pre-populated in the To field. You can also add a subject line and a message that will be pre-populated for the user, which will show that your website is a professional website. And finally, the same goes for your address. If you want your visitors to find you by clicking this link, you can select Ways and then paste your address here. And your visitor app will automatically open and direct them to this address. That's it. And lastly, the social icons. I'll click to edit them. You can add more social icons if you like. Let's try TikTok, for example. Okay. You can change the colors and the size through the Style tab. But I'll keep it as is. Once you have set your icons, you can paste the links to your social media accounts here. So when the visitor clicks the link, they'll be redirected to your social media pages. And that's the header. We have a few more pages to edit to complete our website, but in order to keep this video just under 1 hour, I've decided to stop here. You can apply everything we've learned so far and continue editing your website on your own. I'm sure that you'll find the answers to any questions that might rise in what we've done so far. So be confident you can do it. If you would like to continue building your website with me for about an hour more, then click the link appearing now and let's continue the journey together. I'll be waiting for you and we'll complete all the pages left to build and finish the website together. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and click the bell so you can receive a notification when I upload my next video soon. You don't want to miss it.